My name is Quincy. I'm 21 and I am the top of the two duo acrobatic act.
And my name is Katie and I'm 25 and I am the bottom of the ACROBATIC sisters. Well, we are 8th generation circus family from my father's side. So we were born into circus and we've always been traveling, that's all we know. We have a base in the north of Spain, we have a home there. But we've just been traveling around Europe and with our parents until we were old enough to go to circus school. We went to circus school and then we started our own act. We were young when we started to train, but this act has been going since 2004. The act that we do is not normally done by women, it's done by men. So we thought, let's do something different that's not been done by many women. And the act consists of my sister balancing on top of me on my hands, on my head, on head to head, on head to foot.
I practice around 1 hour a day or more whenever I can, like after my performance, my first performance, because I do 2 in the whole show. After my first performance, I stay backstage and I practice alone, but I just try to perfect all my tricks every day a bit more to look easier.
I was a gymnast as a kid. I also did dance from a young age, and at one point I decided to take it a bit further, so I cancelled my degree, my computer programming degree, and I travelled to London and I went to a circus university where actually I injured myself, so I stopped acrobatics, picked up hula hoops just by chance, and 10 years later I'm still doing it. I picked up my first hula hoop when I was 21. I think it was actually my 21st birthday, but I already had the vision that it was going to work about a month before. I'd seen my friend from Finland hula hooping and she's amazing, and I'm like, oh, I could do that. So I called myself Hula Boy before I started the hula hooping. When I graduated from my circus school, I started working a lot in London and Europe, and I worked a lot on the German variety shows. And eventually I did a show called The Clique at Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where the producers of CabaRAE were there. And they met me in the bar afterwards and said, you've got to come to Hawaii, we have this project. And I'm like, okay. I came up with the Elvis idea because I loved the way that hula hoops make you shake, shakes your hips, and it has this instant physical relation between hula hoops and Elvis, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Living in Hawaii has been a great contrast of what anything else I've done before in my life. I've spent so many years in Europe where it's cold and it's wet, and it's amazing to be in a cast where everyone speaks English. There's so many shows over the world where I might be the only person whose English is their first language. So being able to communicate with everyone's great.
My name is Peter Butovsky. I grew up in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, and my influence in comedy is the first comedian I ever saw when I was 4 years old, when you first remember something, was Lou Costello of Abbott and Costello. And he fell down, and when I saw him fall down, I went, that's what I want to do. And I've been doing it ever since. I did go to a clown college when Ringling Brothers had one in Venice, Florida in December '77. 4 years I lived on a circus train, and that's where I got my training to do physical comedy and clowning and comedy and all that stuff. So all these falls I do, these acrobatic, slapstick, Buster Keaton type of falls I did it all in a circus, but the only difference was I was falling where the animals were, so it wasn't so nice. It was kind of smelly. So I don't really injure myself because I had my nervous system removed.
My name is Galina. I'm from Ukraine, but I live in Berlin. In CabaRAE, I'm doing comedy together with my partner.
I'm Sonny Hayes. I'm a comedian. I also live in Berlin, born in Yorkshire in England, which is the kind of Texas of England, where people have big hearts.
In my magic act, I have completely different character, which actually you would not recognize if you would see 2 of them together. You would not think it's the same person, in fact. It's using magic in a very different, romantic, poetic way, and it is actually tricks, amazing tricks, which you don't know how it's done. In the comedy magic, which we're doing with Sonny, it's more about funny characters. It's not about leaving people thinking, oh, how does that work?
I didn't have any training. I learned on the street, learned by doing, and I think I started in Festival of Fools in the 70s, worked in Holland in 75, and then in 76 I did the Festival of Fools with Django Edwards and a lot of furry freak brothers.
I say I'm like the Three Stooges, only I cut out the middleman. I beat the heck out of myself.
My name is Richard DeFonso. I play one of the hosts in the beginning of the show, sort of the Joel Grey role of CabaRAE. Then I do the opening of the second act, a song called Mascara, where I'm in full drag face. And then I close the show, or come closing the show, and I do Liza Minnelli, so it's a lot of fun. Went to Westchester University for music and theater. And then I went to New York and auditioned for a performing arts school called the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. And then after that, I started acting legit, what they call legit theater. I did a lot of musical theater. I did a lot of, mostly stage acting. And then about 15 years ago, I was asked to do by a friend of mine, it was kind of crazy, Liza Minnelli for his birthday, which after I did that, a friend of mine came up and said, I think you found a new calling.
We met doing a cliff diving show in Salt Lake City. It was a restaurant called the Mayan, so we dressed up as like Mayan warriors. We wore loincloths. The theme of the show was you'd have your dinner and watch a diving show as you eat your dinner. None of us had diving experience, but I guess we were crazy and we'd like to just do acrobatic stuff.
My name is Mary Ellen Wolf, and I do trapeze with my husband Tice. So he just throws me around, and I hope that I don't fall, but I trust him. We were both working as the high divers, and then when we started dating, we decided to do an act together. And then after we got married, we really wanted to be able to stay together, because before that I had been doing solo aerial work and he had been doing acrobatics, and we had these job offers, but we would have to be split up. So we quit our jobs and decided to full-time train trapeze, and kind of took a gamble to see, is this going to be able to work? Can we actually make a living doing this? And it worked out, so we're really glad that we did it.
I kind of started weight training way before I even thought about doing an act with her. And so that's what made the transition into this stuff, I guess, a little bit easier, because I already had a weight training background, so we had strength to do these things.
Well, for me, the hardest part was getting used to throwing my bodies in certain ways and learning how to trust him. So as a ballet dancer, you're on the ground, you're not up in the air throwing your body around. So at first, it took me a while to trust that if I throw something right, that he'll be there to catch me, because you don't want to freeze up. But that was the hardest part for me.
My name is Kelly Vaughn. I open up the show with the song Willkommen. Then I portray a Dolly Parton sister. We call her Molly. And then I do kind of like a Jessica Rabbit-ish character in the show. Yeah, well, all my life I've been a performer. So I lived in Vegas for 8 years and did many, many shows. My first week on the island, I called all my friends in Vegas and I'm like, I think I just joined a circus.
Yeah, my name is Derek Daniels, originally born and raised in Hawaii, from Kaneohe originally. And my role in CabaRAE was, first I was called to choreograph and to stylize it, so to costume the show. As a dancer, I began again with Ronald Bright at Castle High School. I also danced hula with Michael and James de la Cruz with Napio o Ko'lau. And after Hawaii, I went to Guam to dance Polynesian dance in Guam. Then in Osaka, Japan, where I was teaching. From Osaka, I went to Los Angeles, where I did the television series Fame with Debbie Allen and Jaime Rogers, and Janet Jackson was also in our show. And then I worked also with Grace Jones for 8 years as her backup singer choreographer. I went to Europe for 10 years and worked a lot with Jean-Paul Gaultier with the fashion world. I also was a singer. I released a little album back in Paris. And then I heard that my dad was ill, which brought me back to Hawaii. The great thing about CabaRAE, which I really adore about CabaRAE, is the stylizing of this show and what I do, because as a dancer, as a ballet dancer, as a modern dancer, as a CabaRAE dancer, and a hula dancer, I'm kind of all over the place as a dancer, and CabaRAE gives me that opportunity to expand on my CabaRAE-ness, that whole androgynous feathers and the whole attitude, the personality, which I just love to do.
Hi, Robert De Niro. It's a really great show here at the Hilton Village Hawaiian Hotel. It's called CabaRAE. A lot of interesting things, people swinging around, people flipping around, people singing. It's really good. You should come and check it out. There's nothing else like it on the islands.
We offer wonderful specials for Kama'aina. We are a Kama'aina friendly show. We love the community. We want our ohana from all over Hawaii to be here with us and enjoy what we hope will be here for many, many, many years to come. Support us. We love you guys.